I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started with the Now Have Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. Once you're good and educated about the show, click on that merchandise tab. We'll take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our pride logo t-shirt, our special event t-shirts, and so much more. Don't worry. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are still available in our online store, including socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets, and about 58 more items that we've slapped our logo on to put up for sale. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Stick, taps, love, and respect to each and every one of you Renegades. We're picking up some merchandise as of late. Social media is of critical importance, and here's how you can help us out. So listen up, Renegades. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We are on those social media platforms. You can also find us on YouTube. Please give us a subscription right there. And thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed as of late and who has been clicking on and watching Renegades of Puck TV. We sure do appreciate that. You can also find the audio version of the podcast on numerous platforms. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform, or go ahead and check out a couple of these examples. Google, Stitcher, Spotify. You can find us on all of those platforms and plenty more. Please just search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform today. Over 2 million replays, listens, and downloads this year already, thanks to the Full Press NHL Network. We sure do appreciate everything they are doing behind the scenes to help make the show get in front of more Renegades than it ever has before. Venmo is how you can help the show out with a financial donation or become a partner of the show. Just go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that is currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening to this podcast, we have been able to make significant upgrades to the show, the set, and everything else around us. Every dollar goes to helping out the Renegades of Puck, so stick, taps, love, and respect. We sure do appreciate all of the assistance. An independent hockey operation like the Renegades of Puck simply could not exist or survive or do business without the generosity of Renegades just like you watching right now. Now, listen. I know. Time to get to the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 754 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 754. The significance of that, it is our 200th episode here on YouTube TV. It is our 200th episode since leaving the radio industry and going independent, and it is our 754th episode overall, 11 plus years in the bunker, delivering you the No Half Step in goods. So, enough patting ourselves on the back. Let's get to the goods. At this moment in hockey history, the Milwaukee Admirals and the Manitoba Moose find themselves tied at 1 apiece in the best-of-5 series. On Friday, it was Milwaukee defeating Manitoba by a score of 6-2 to open the series and take a 1-0 lead in the series. Full game recap of Game 2 coming up in a matter of moments. The score, though, 3-2, the final in overtime, tying the series at 1 apiece. So the Manitoba Moose able to get the split on home ice before heading back to Milwaukee for Games 3 and 4 Wednesday and Friday. Game 5, if necessary, would take place on Saturday. So potentially Game 4 and 5 back-to-backs coming up at the end of the week. But that is only if Game 5 ends up being necessary. Milwaukee on their way back home to take advantage of that home ice advantage. Got to win 2 out of 3. All 3 games will be played on home ice. Now, let me update you on the rest of the Calder Cup playoff bracket before we move on and talk exclusively about the Admirals and the Moose series. Let's take a look at the western side of the bracket. First, Texas and Rockford. It is Texas leading 1-0 at this moment. Milwaukee and Manitoba, of course, are tied at 1 apiece in their best-of-5 series. Calgary holds a 2-0 lead over Abbotsford, and Coachella and Colorado are also tied at 1 apiece. Over on the eastern side of the bracket, it is Hartford with a 2-0 series lead over Providence. It is Hershey with a 2-0 lead over the Charlotte Checkers. Toronto and Utica are tied up at 1 apiece, and Syracuse and Rochester are tied up at 2 apiece. A deciding Game 5 is coming up on Wednesday. As a matter of fact, let me give you the schedule for Wednesday, because Wednesday is going to be a hell of a night in the Calder Cup playoffs. We have 7 series on the ice, and we could have elimination elimination scenarios about to happen. So we have Hartford and Providence playing in Game 3 on Wednesday. We have Charlotte and Hershey. We have Toronto and Utica, Rockford and Texas, Calgary and Abbotsford, Colorado and Coachella. And, of course, Milwaukee will host Manitoba in Game 3. So all Game 3s set up for Wednesday. Syracuse and Rochester, their Game 5 will come up later. Now, when we get a chance to take a look at the series, we call it the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We got to go back and talk about everything that happened in Game 2 in Manitoba, in Winnipeg. The Moose hosting the Admirals, looking to even up the series. We'll talk about it in the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. That's coming up next.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. We go all the way back to April 30th of the year 2023 when the Milwaukee Admirals were in Manitoba to take on the Moose for Game 2 of their best-of-5 second-round series. Carl Taylor deploys his lines in the following way. Sherwood, Sanford, and Evangelista would be your starting line. Schneider, Jankowski, and Tomasino. Leonard, McCarron, and Rushev. Huntington, Angelo, and Afanaseyev make up your lines in for the forwards. For the defensive pairings, Gravel and Stastny, Del Gaizo, and Thompson, Wilsby, and Gross make up your defensive pairings. And, of course, Yaroslav Askarov is the starter in net. We are 1:31 into Game 2, and we find Mark Jankowski hitting the post for the Milwaukee Admirals at 2:28 of the first period. Is Salmonen, a save on Angelo, the first shot on goal of the game for either team. 4:56. Salmonen comes up with a save on Leonard. 5:11. Askarov comes up with a save on Bongiovanni, the first save for Askarov in the game. 6:38. Askarov comes up with a save on Harkin. 7:48. Askarov comes with a save on Bongiovanni. 10:13. Salmonen comes up with a save on Sanford at 12:32 of the first period. We find our first big action of the game as Huntington's off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Now, this PK, listen, we talked an awful lot about the power play of this Admirals team, but this PK so far in the playoffs has been absolutely stellar. The PK right here, stellar, outstanding, whatever adjective you choose to use right here. They didn't give up a single shot on goal. As a matter of fact, they had trouble getting into the zone at all because Askarov on the dump-ins cleared the puck multiple times before Manitoba could even come close to getting to the puck. That penalty in the pass now, 15:25 in the first period. It is Salmonen coming in with a save on Gross. The puck trickled behind and was loose for just a second. Salmonen is able to fall down backwards, covering it up with the body and getting the whistle. At 16:53 of the first period, it would be Jones. His first goal of the playoffs gives the Manitoba Moose their first lead over the Milwaukee Admirals in this series. Askarov is caught cheating towards the pass, and he left the post and the net wide open. There was a solid foot of net to shoot at right there that was just completely open. Honestly, it's not a very good look and a very good goal for the young netminder for the Milwaukee Admirals. 1-0 in favor of the Moose here late in the first period. 18:13 of the first period. We go back behind the play and we find Gavanka and Afanaseyev battling behind the net there. 2 minutes for roughing, 4-on-4 for both teams. We go to the end of the first period. Milwaukee outshoots Manitoba in the first period 7-5. Rather low event as Manitoba clearly looking to slow down the Milwaukee Admirals offense from Game 1, and they were able to do so because in Game 1, the Admirals had 3 goals in the first period, and this game they have none, and they're actually trailing on the scoreboard. We go to the clean sheet, we go to the second period, and we find Yaroslav Askarov coming up with a save on Meyer to start the period. 17 seconds in, 51 seconds in, Salmonen comes up with a save on Tomasino. 1:55, Salmonen a save on Luke Evangelista. 2:27, Askarov back to work, coming up with a big save on Ford. 2:44 into the second period. Much more high-event hockey to start this period. Askarov comes up with a save on Heinola. 3:39 of the second. Salmonen comes up with a save on Sanford. Close range shot right here for the Admirals. 4:21. Salmonen comes up with a save on Del Gaizo. The rebound goes high off of the glove and falls harmlessly out of reach. Milwaukee has 7 shots on goal in the first 4.5 minutes of the second period. They had 7 in the entirety of the first period. So clearly things are starting to pick up out there. 5:35 of the second period. Forwards off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. And that's when Sherwood gets his first goal of the playoffs playoffs, tying the game up at 1 apiece. Milwaukee Admirals power play has just been devastating all season long, and in Game 1, it continued on, and now it continues on in Game 2 with the conversion right here, tying the game up at 1 apiece on Sherwood's first the playoff. 6:04 the second period. Askarov comes with a save on Pelé. 6:28 Pelé off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Salmonen would have to come with a save on Tomasino. There'd be a scrum after the whistle. No penalties here. Salmonen then come out with a save on Leonard right at the end of the power play. So the Admirals power play unable to convert. So you got to give some real credit to the Moose PK unit, as they have struggled against Milwaukee when it comes to special teams. 11:10 of the second period. Thompson's off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. The Admirals find themselves short-handed, and Askarov is about to clock in and do some work. He's going to come up with a huge save on Harkins, Bongiovanni, Malott, and Tarnito before the end of the power play. So Askarov, 4 big saves right here on this short-handed situation. Not quite as smooth sailing as the previous penalty kills have been in this series. 13:21 of the second period. Tornado's off the box. 2 minutes for roughing. Came during a scrum. Looked like it was going to be evened up, but it was Manitoba taking the loss right here in this exchange. Tomasino then is off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Makeup call or not, it was definitely a trip. 4-on-4 for 43 seconds. That's when Askarov comes up with a save on Gavanke. And then 16:25 of the second period. Askarov comes with a save on Bongiovanni. 18:45, another save on Bongiovanni. At 19:57 of the second period, Askarov comes up with a save on Malott. And there's a large scrum, at the end of the period. Certainly looked like we might get a couple of misconduct since it was at the buzzer, and definitely a couple of penalties, but it turns out, no, everybody was just sent to their locker rooms. Things cooled down, and we hit the intermission. Manitoba out shooting Milwaukee 21-18 after 2 periods. Now, remember, Manitoba had 5 shots on goal in the first period. Now they are at 21. We have a tied hockey game at 1 apiece. Going into the third period on the clean sheet, we're 3:09 in, and Askarov's coming with a save on Gavanka. 3:32 of the third period. Salmonen comes up with a save on Sherwood. Several seconds later, Sherwood would have a great follow-up opportunity, would also be turned aside. We turn over to the back of the sheet because we have that much action happening in Game 2. 4:44 of the third period is Askarov coming up with a save on Morales. 5:54 is Salmonen coming with a save on Luke Evangelista. 6:58, Salmonen comes up with a save on Jankowski at close range. Turnover here looked like for sure the Admirals were about to score. Just one of the many moments where Salmonen kept his team in this game. At 8:31, Salmonen comes up with a save on Angelo. Another turnover right in front of the net. The Admirals cannot convert on this one either. The big kick out for Salmonen. At 11:24 of the third period, it's Askarov coming up with a save on Saunier. 13:03 of the third period. Luke Evangelista gives the Milwaukee Admirals a 2-1 lead over the Manitoba Moose. His first goal of the playoffs. It was a 2-on-1 with Jordan Gross. Couple of passes in exchange before the finish happens into the empty net. 2-1 now in favor of the Milwaukee Admirals. 13:17 of the third period. Askarov comes up with a save on Jones. 16:15. Askarov comes up with a save on Heinola. 16:36. Askarov comes with a save on Gavanke. 18:02. A save on Tornado. 18:26. A save on Heinola in the 6-on-5 scenario with the Milwaukee Admirals under insane pressure for quite a bit of time. It's at 19:07 that Meyer breaks through with his first goal of the series, tying the game up at 2 apiece. It was a 6-on-5 rebound put back off of the back wall and into the net. Unfortunately for Askarov, lost track of that puck for just the briefest of time as it went behind the net, but it came right off the back wall as a perfect setup and a rebound put back from Meyer. That makes the game 2 apiece, and we would hit the end of regulation tied at 2. Manitoba, 32 shots on goal. Milwaukee, 32 shots on goal. It could not be more even at this point after 60 minutes. It would not take very long into overtime. 1:32 into the overtime session. The Admirals having some incredible difficulty getting the puck out of their zone. They're scrambling all over the place, and that's where Harkins seizes the day, takes advantage of the opportunity, gets his second goal of the series. It was a rebound put back. Askarov got bumped. Everybody was looking for a review. There was no review. There was no penalty. It's a good goal, and it is the game-winning goal. 3-2 in favor of the Moose on home ice. Just 1:32 into overtime. Series now tied at 1 apiece. The Manitoba Moose definitely looked to come out in this game and slow the Admirals' attack and offense down. They were able to do that throughout the first period, and then as their netminder was able to keep them in this one, the Moose gained confidence, gained their footing, and gained their offensive strides throughout the game, and, well, frankly, found the 2 goals that they needed at exactly the right time that they needed. Late in the third period and early in overtime, That's enough to tie the series up at 1 apiece. That'll do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. It might have started out slow and the score might not have been that high, but that was a hell of a hockey game. And a whole lot happening out there, especially between the pipes. We got full analysis coming up. We're going to talk about both of those goaltending performances, the goal scorers, and so much more on the Renegades of Puck podcast. And we're going to do it right after these quick messages. Right back after this.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah!
Yaroslav Askarov in this game, 31 out of 34. Actually a lighter workload than he had in game 1. In the series now, 66 out of 71, 5 goals against. And I've got to tell you, breaking it down, the first goal against in this game, it was a bad goal against. Now listen, we saw a goal in game 1 from out near the red line go into the net. Frankly, I think that this one is worse, in my opinion, because it was 100% preventable. Askarov gets caught leaving the post, leaning towards the pass, and the shooter just recognizes that instantly and fires the puck right into a wide open, practically empty, undefended net on that particular side because Askarov's attention had already moved to the slot and to the left. So that goal is not something that can happen with an ace netminder in. It does happen from time to time, but that's 2 games and 2 bad goals against Askarov in this playoff series. Caught leaning, and that is not a good look. But beyond that, overall, not a bad game. I thought that he was pretty good at big stretches of this game, only giving up 3 total in this game. It was the team in front of him. The offense had some trouble going, and all the way down 200 feet on the other end of the ice was a goaltender that just outdueled Askarov in this game. I will talk about that here momentarily. But overall, a very good 2 games so far in the series, a 1-1 record for Askarov, and again, 66 out of 71 in total. And aside from those 2 really bad goals, I feel that he's been very strong performer out there. Button it up, tighten things up at home, and Milwaukee Admirals should be in perfectly good shape. Gross, 2 more assists in this game. That was tied for the team lead in points, the only player in this game to pick up 2 assists. So now that is 5 points, 1 goal, 4 assists in 2 games. And let's talk about the setup on the 2-on-1 with Evangelista. The passing back and forth, Gross waited just long enough on the last pass to make the netminder fully commit before sliding it over to Evangelista for the finish into the empty net. That is truly a great primary assist and setup on a 2-on-1 and at a huge time in the game. It gave Milwaukee the lead, at least temporarily, in the third period. Again, Gross is your third pair defenseman, and he now has 5 points in 2 games in the series and was right there leading the 2-on-1 in what was, at the time, the game-leading goal in the third period. So again, let's give it up to Gross right here for the 2 games and the performances he has put up so far in this series. Now let's talk about Luke Evangelista, a goal and assist in this game for 2 points in this game, also 2 points in game 1. That means 4 points in the series. Luke Evangelista now averaging 2 points per game in the playoffs. Small sample size of 2 games, but it's still impressive enough. And he looked great. Finishing on that 2-on-1. Listen, having a wide open net isn't always as clean or as easy as it seems or as it sounds. So Luke Evangelista making it look very easy, making it look very casual, converting right there on the 2-on-1 at the end was outstanding. I thought he was highly noticeable. I thought he played a very good game, and I'm looking forward to what he can do when the team gets back on home ice and maybe Evangelista can get some more favorable line change combos and setups with the team having the last change at home. Let's talk about Sherwood. A goal and assist equals Evangelista's same exact stat line, also 2 points, but the 4 shots on goal, that also equals Luke Evangelista. Evangelista also had 4 shots on goal. Is also tied for the team lead. Now, I've been telling you about the whole series. That gives Sherwood 3 points for the series in 2 games. And what I've got to say about Sherwood tonight is, yes, the goal important, the assist, the points, the shots on goal, all important, but it was far beyond that for Sherwood in this game. He was, without a doubt, the most notable Milwaukee Admiral out there on the ice in this entire game. He was everywhere. He was putting on big hits. He was battling for loose pucks. He was everywhere. Sherwood deserves a lot of credit for the effort that he put up in this game, collecting 2 points, generating 4 shots on goal, but also being a disruptive force and a positive influence on his squad for the entirety of this game. I thought he was a very impressive player for the Milwaukee Admirals. Now, I want to talk about Salmon, and before we head out of this particular segment of the show, he was 30 out of 32 in this game. And you know what? That's not the single most impressive stat line you're ever going to hear, but what he did that makes this performance go from good to great is timely saves. He kept his team in it when he needed to be the best he could be is when he was the best that he could be. He kept his team in it long enough that they could make a 1-goal comeback and then win the game in overtime, especially when they were shorthanded. The Admirals' power play had been having their way, 3 out of 6 in the entirety of the series through 2 games, and the Admirals were shut down there later in this game, and that was by Salmon. And Salmon had a very good regular season against the Milwaukee Admirals, and it will be no surprise to see him get the start in Game 3 and possibly for the rest of the series. Again, his performance is what allowed the Manitoba Moose to climb back into this game once they fell behind and secure the victory. The Admirals were able to blow this team out in Game 1. In Game 2, they were kept very close, and that made things a little bit easier for the Manitoba Moose there at the end of the game when they got that surge going. And just one more comment. I know I said we were just about to wrap the analysis. I warned the Admirals that taking their foot off the gas in the third period in Game 1 would allow momentum to be built going into Game 2, and clearly the Manitoba Moose came out and played their best period of the series in the first period today. They set the tone for the rest of Game 2, and they were able to come back and secure the victory. So again, you cannot, even in a blowout, take your foot off the gas and allow the team that you're going to have to face potentially 4 more times gain that footing in the series and gain that momentum. That's exactly what we saw from Manitoba, and that's right now why we have a series tied at 1 apiece. Very much looking forward to Game 3. That is for sure. That's going to do it for the analysis portion of things. We've got box score. We've got Brian Baston. We've got all things coming up still. So keep it tuned right here to the Renegades of Puck podcast. The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business. And that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. When it comes to the box score, there's honestly not a whole lot in a 3-2 in overtime game. Let's go ahead and tell you what there is. Luke Evangelista was a goal scorer. Kiefer Sherwood was also a goal scorer in this game. It was Jordan Gross with 2 assists that paced the Milwaukee Admirals. Luke Evangelista also chips in with an assist. Kiefer Sherwood has an assist in the shots on goal. Luke Evangelista with 4. John Leonard with 4. Kiefer Sherwood also with 4 shots on goal in this game. When it comes to the goaltending, 31 out of 34. That was what Yaroslav Askarov did in this game in 61 of 32 total time on ice. Now, the box score might not have that much to talk about as far as categories and numbers and columns being filled out like they were in Game 1, but you know who always finds the most important numbers to look at? He's the guy that's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know. From ontheforecheck.com, he runs the Renegade Analytics desk, and he's here to bring the jam. He's the one and only Brian Baston.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Well, the Milwaukee Admirals entered Game 2 of the Central Division semifinals in the Calder Cup playoffs with a 1-0 series lead against the Manitoba Moose after Friday's 6-2 victory. And I did talk last game about how the Milwaukee regulars were the ones leading the charge behind defenseman Jordan Gross. And yes, Gross had another spectacular game, picking up 2 more assists today, bringing his point total to 5 points in 2 games. But Luke Evangelista and Kiefer Sherwood, both of which spent some time with Nashville this season, helped bring the game to overtime, each picking up a goal and an assist. Unfortunately for the Admirals, though, they fell in overtime just under 2 minutes into the period, and the series heads back to Milwaukee for games 3, 4, and 5, tied at 1 apiece. But I wouldn't start to panic if you're an Admirals fan, because despite the loss, there are several positive signs from the team that should ease your mind a bit going forward, and that is the topic of today's One Big Stat. Now, the Milwaukee Admirals penalty kill entered the AHL playoffs ranking 3rd in the league, and they've been incredible shorthanded this series as well. The Admirals have killed all 7 of Manitoba's power plays in the first 2 games, essentially eliminating the man advantage against Manitoba. But that's not the only part of the special teams that has excelled. The Admirals have had the man advantage 6 times in this series, and they've scored on 3 of them. Zach Sanford and Jordan Gross picked up power play goals in Game 1, and Kiefer Sherwood tied the game at 1 today with his power play goal as well. But despite the loss, I wouldn't worry too much yet. Nearly every game in the regular season series was decided by just 1 goal, and even Admirals head coach Carl Taylor went into Game 2 with the mindset that they needed to play as if it was a 1-goal game, despite the 6-2 win in Game 1. And he was exactly right. The Admirals fell by 1 goal, 3-2 in overtime. But this Admirals team should get better with every game, as some of the newer players, as well as new arrival and Preds defenseman prospect Jack Mateer, arrives with the team, so I still like the Admirals' chances going forward. Of course, Yaroslav Askarov has been fantastic this series, as well as Jordan Gross, Kiefer Sherwood, Luke Evangelista, and so on, but the Admirals' excellent special teams could prove to be the difference going forward, starting on Wednesday night in Panther Arena for Game 3. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Charlie?
Thank you so much, Brian. I sure do appreciate you bringing the jam and being willing to cover the Milwaukee Admirals the way you are to this point in the series. Now, let's close this show out. What was a best of 5 now after 2 games has become a best of 3. With the Milwaukee Admirals having home ice, they had home ice for the beginning. They have the next 3 games at home. They have to win 2 out of 3, so it's a best of 3. The Milwaukee Admirals are certainly capable of winning 2 out of the next 3 games against the Manitoba Moose. Remember, last season, these 2 teams played in this round, and it went 5 games before the Admirals were able to squeak one out in Game 5. The Moose aren't going anywhere. They're here to compete in a 1-1 series. I expect they're going to bring their best to Milwaukee to face off against the Admirals in Games 3 and 4, and potentially in Game 5 as well. So it is a best of 3 at this point, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Askarov got out-dueled today, and that's okay. That's going to happen from time to time. That's why it's a series, not a 1-game standalone event. A series proves all things out to be true. There are no flukes when you win 3 out of 5 or when you win 4 out of 7. That is not a fluke. Winning 1 game can be a fluke, but winning a series is never a fluke. And for the Milwaukee Admirals to win this series, I think it's a simple formula. They just need to settle down and play hockey. They're a great hockey team, full of incredible talent. Today, it wasn't their day. They were out-dueled, but honestly, they didn't play a bad hockey game. The coach, Carl Taylor, after the game said so. He didn't believe they played a bad hockey game. They were just beaten on the road by another playoff team. It's a best of 3 series right now. The Milwaukee Admirals need to bring the jam, settle down, and just play some good old hockey once they get back to Milwaukee. Wednesday night is when Game 3 will take place. Game 4 will take place on Friday, and if necessary, and it happens, Game 5 will take place on Saturday night. You know the Renegades of Puck will be right here in the bunker, covering each and every second of every one of these games. We are so incredibly happy, excited, and proud to be amplifying the Milwaukee Admirals playoff coverage. Aaron is doing such an incredible job calling the games, and the Renegades of Puck are here in full support of everything going on with the Milwaukee Admirals. Yes, it is a direct tie-in with the Nashville Predators, but it is also an incredible story to see so much talent in Milwaukee right now. From in net to defense and the forwards, it is an incredible squad with a lot of talent moving forward. Very much look forward to covering Game 3 and far beyond that. That is going to do it for operation number 754 from the bunker. 200 episodes here on YouTube TV. 200 episodes since we went independent from the radio business. Thank you guys. It means a lot. It has been an incredible amount of work. It has been difficult at times. We have had to get educated. We have had to learn so many different things in order to make this thing happen. We couldn't have done it without your support. So again, thank you so much. It means so much. 200 episodes, and it's just the beginning. 754. We're already planning 800 and far beyond that. Believe me, the Renegades of Puck aren't going anywhere. And we don't need a radio station. We don't need a media partner. We don't need anything to compete against everyone. It's exactly what we're going to continue to do. Stick taps, love, and respect, my good Renegades. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier.